That just happened. And before we get to it, I just want to back up and tell you why we are discussing this breaking news, because it's occurred to me that there are some people out there who believe that to be a conservative, what it means is that we become tribal and we defend other conservatives even when they do things that are wrong, that we don't discuss things that are horrible on our own side because we need to just make sure that we score wins in other ways, and that is wrong.
Wait, Steven Crowder's a monster? Changed my mind. That's funny. That's funny.
So that to me is the exact opposite of why I have this platform. I am not tribal. I want to expose things when they are bad on the left, and I will also expose things when they are bad on the right. Obviously, I have been interested in the Steven Crowder saga pertaining to his divorce because he literally inserted me into his divorce a couple of days ago, and his wife and family are now...
I don't get why he inserted her. What did she say, though? Like, what did she say that was crazy that he put her in that video? I don't know.
Out regarding that video in which he told people publicly that his wife was leaving him. You remember this. He chose wrong, and he essentially made it sound as if he did not want his marriage to end, but his wife simply wanted to leave. Well, she has responded by giving video, and I want to prep you. I want you to know this is horrific video. It is very difficult to watch. It's especially difficult to watch because in this footage, she is 8 months pregnant. And the video essentially reveals just how emotionally abusive he has been. And she is alleging that he has been emotionally abusive to her. And this video all but confirms it. So let's first get to the footage. I'm just going to allow you to watch it in its entirety.
I drew a boundary. I drew a boundary. No, you just did. I drew a boundary of usage. You were not taking the car. Because if you refuse to do wifely things, then I will go.
So we've seen this. Oh, this was over some groceries? While your wife is pregnant? Wife built like a blimp. Why is she going to get groceries? Why is she on her feet? I still don't understand this.
So that is both heartbreaking.
We already watched the video.
To watch. I cannot even comprehend how any man can speak to a woman like that, least of all when she is 8 months pregnant. And sadly, that isn't the worst part of that correspondence. The journalist that dropped this video is Yashar Ali. He dropped this as well as a Substack entry accompanying it. On the Substack article, he wrote, "Moments later, off camera, Steven Crowder, by his own admission, would lose control and scream at his pregnant wife in a threatening tone, quote, 'I will f you up,' end quote, which led his wife to flee their home." She then sent a statement, which I want to be very clear. This statement I knew was going to come out. I didn't know any of this information. I had no idea there was a video, there was any evidence. I did know that their family was thinking about issuing a statement, and Hillary Crowder did issue a statement. And I'm going to read you that statement in its entirety because it's important. I think.
Anybody in here pissing over? Oh wait, what? Pining over Candace Owens? Need to go to hell? She in trouble for getting groceries? I don't get it.
It reveals a lot of the lies that Steven has been telling publicly to his audiences. It reads, "Hillary is currently living alone in Dallas apart from her family and support system in Michigan and is focused on taking care of her young children. She is not prepared at this time to speak about her divorce becoming public."
I'm so glad we read through all this. I ain't gotta watch it. I ain't gotta like let niggas reread it, which is awesome.
We actually prayed for Steven and this surgery. So before I show you a clip from us on Backstage, here is Steven describing that surgery, and it certainly doesn't sound like it's elective. Take a listen.
I explained to you a little bit what it is. You know, a lot of people say, "Why are you smoking?" My heart is actually great, but my heart doesn't work great. The reason my heart doesn't work great is, long story short, because of a connective tissue disorder I have, and my chest is caving in on my heart. So I've got about, I'm at a little more than half of the blood flow that you guys have.
I thought this nigga was about to say I got 5 months to live.
Output from my heart. So it's mechanical fix. And I don't know, maybe I'll feel like Lance Armstrong, you know, like I'm on EPO after this, because I don't know what it's like to go through life with full blood flow. To me, I'm looking forward to it, not looking forward to the pain. Lance Armstrong, by the way, with the 3 balls, not the one. So yeah, it's overall a positive thing, and honestly, I've probably needed a little bit of rest. It comes in the form of having my chest cracked open.
Obviously, he had the surgery, and then his lung collapsed. And here is us praying for him, praying that he actually gets better.
Before we leave, I just have to, this one off the subject for a minute. Our pal.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. This is the craziest room for yo, if you saw all these niggas in a room, would you also expect there to be a black woman in this room too? This is just the craziest room to be in. And then you keep scrolling and you see a black woman just sitting there. I'm like, oh no, bro. You don't even do you know? Does she know?
Well, Steve Crowder.
Maybe Oprah? Yeah, maybe Oprah.
Who makes the best ashtrays
maybe Oprah.
in the country. Truly. In the hospital fighting for his life. And he's really come close. He's come close to the dark edge of things. And I just want to say that crazy as he is, we love him and we're thinking about him. That, we hope he makes it back.
You're a better man than I am.
Nightmare blown
I was actually just looking forward to the show being over so that I could text him and say,
Oh, it's 6 niggas. Never mind. Wait, who is this? Oh, okay. I thought she was actually a person.
You don't make it, pal.
Actually, this is a real story. Last night I had to go for a drive because it was a long story, but I had to burn down gas to take my car into the shop. And so I was going to smoke a cigar, and I was going to say my nightly prayers. And I thought, I should probably pray for Crowder, because he's in this. And I thought, oh, well, what's great? I'm going to light up one of the cigars that Crowder sent me.
Yeah.
And Crowder, this guy who's a complete maniac, he sent me these beautiful cigars, and I was like, oh, pal, I'm going to send you some cigars right away from my humidor. Haven't sent him a single thing, but that guy, he, really a generous fellow. And doesn't get enough credit.
I actually did text him and say that we were praying for him at great risk to our souls.
And if he dies, I personally will kill him. Right?
And yet, according to his wife, this
Okay.
was an elective surgery, really a cosmetic surgery, because Stephen didn't like the way that his chest looked because he had a sunken chest. It was not something that was actually required to save his life. And yet we see that same pattern of behavior. Stephen garnering a ton of affection.
Oh, so you wanted big titties? Wow. Wait, who said that though? Wait, she just said that the wife said that?
Surgery, really a cosmetic surgery, because Stephen didn't like the way. And yet, according to his wife, this was an elective surgery, really a cosmetic surgery. And yet we see that same pattern of behavior. Stephen garnering a ton of affection and prayers from his followers purporting to be the victim, when in fact the facts don't line up with his narrative. The second portion that I'd like to point to is where it says Hillary was not aware that Stephen hired a divorce attorney. This stands in stark contrast to what he told his followers when he said how hard divorce was and how difficult and horrific it had been, and how he really...
That's gotta be crazy, bro. How your chest caved in? You got like a decent build for muscle growth, I would assume. You know what I'm saying? I hear you just gotta to really pump out your chest, you really gotta overwork it to force it to grow. You can force your chest to grow. That's just a crazy thing to get to. What comments have you been reading to where you just had to get a cosmetic chest surgery?
We didn't want it, and just, Texas is a no-fault divorce state.
But hey, I'm not gonna get on them about it. If that's what you want to do, I see women get fake breasts all the time. If that's your mode, then cool. Do your thing, 21.
What is the truth here?
I just wouldn't expect the alpha male to do it. You know what I mean?
Now, obviously, right now we have his wife's word versus Stephen's word, but given my personal experience with Stephen, I am very much inclined to believe his wife. Now, I'd like to get into some other portions of this article, which I think are really important. The writer has a bunch of audio files and text messages that were sent to him that he was able to review. He writes, in audio files and text messages that I reviewed, Stephen Crowder admits to some of his faults, which include a volcanic temper, repeatedly, and at times regretfully.
Oh, so he publicly comes out and shames people for getting cosmetic surgeries. That's what you're saying?
But according to sources that I spoke to who are familiar with their relationship, Crowder's admissions often came after a sustained period of mental and emotional abuse, and he didn't seem to be able to control his impulses. That, again, is something that I have seen personally. Very bizarre that he would insert me into a divorce announcement and purport that I somehow extorted him. It's very bizarre in the way that he attacked the Daily Wire, and there just seem to be a lot of signs that he is not able to control his emotions. And so the question that I will ask is, how many people are going to allege abuse from Stephen Crowder before we listen? Before we stop saying he's one of us because he says things that he agrees with? We purport that we are the party of family values. How can you look at that video and defend him in any way? How can you look at that video and not roundly condemn this and say this is not something that actually represents the things that we believe? The writer goes on to say, like so many things in his life in recent years, Crowder's temper and paranoia led him to destroy his relationships with Sir Shapiro, Boring, and others at the Daily Wire when he posted a video on his channel suggesting that the Daily Wire, without naming the company, was attempting to align itself with big tech by mentioning in their initial offer to him that if he was demonetized on social media platforms, that it would reduce his overall compensation. Well, again, going back to the pattern, it's not just the Daily Wire. It's David Landau.
See, he done fucked up the whole little shaboing boing because Candace Owens' husband's trying to create. You know what I'm saying? He was creating that platform that Kanye was kind of into. Boom! If Steven Crowder would have just shut the fuck up, he'd have been safe over there. They'd have had a platform, a little profile account for him. You know what I'm saying? To post all his other views and opinions and shit like that. He'd have been cool. All he had to do was shut the fuck up. He know her husband, you know what I'm saying?
Sven the computer.
He works smarter, not harder. He not really fully seeing the full scope of the situation.
Jared Monroe, formerly known as Not Gay Jared, people that are locked into NDAs and are not allowed to speak about
he didn't burn the bridge.
The abuse that they endured by Stephen Crowder. It's Owen Benjamin. It's now his wife. Do you believe that all of these various different parties, the majority of them who have never spoken to each other, I have never spoken to Sven the computer, I've never spoken to David Landau, I've never spoken to Hillary Crowder, I've never spoken to Owen Benjamin. Do you believe that all of these people, as is the paranoid narrative that Stephen Crowder is presenting, are working maybe in collusion with big tech to try to destroy him? Or do you believe it's plausible that Stephen Crowder is just a monster? I personally believe that he is a monster. And that is, by the way, Stephen, if you're watching, I'm not trying to extort you. I am just simply telling the truth. There was a lot of things that are going on, and I am glad that his wife found the strength to speak out. And I'm calling upon everybody to roundly condemn this, to reject this firmly, not to somehow come up with an excuse and say, oh, well, it's a divorce, so we shouldn't talk about it. We should mind our own business. No, the way that we represent ourselves privately and publicly should be the same. If you purport to care about family values, again, then you should care about this situation and you should condemn it. Yashar Ali also added in this article, in reviewing documentary evidence related to their marriage.
I don't even want to know what the kids gonna have to go through as they growing up, bro. Like, listen to this nigga, bro. Look at this nigga, man. Look how fragile of a person or individual this is. You mean to tell me this dude has dominion over two people that are gonna grow up and be active members of society later on in life? Oh my God.
Steven Crowder appears to be obsessed with the idea that his wife is only interested in him for money. Hillary Crowder started dating him well before he became famous and wealthy. He was making less than $100,000 a year when they got married. Again, the Crowder narrative never seems to line up with the reality. And on that note, for those of you that are asking for an update, yes, I did send a cease and desist to him regarding his comments that I somehow extorted him. I sent the cease and desist. I heard back from his lawyer, and essentially what I get from this is that his lawyer is saying that this was just his opinion and it was just Steven Crowder's feelings, and even though it wasn't reality, too bad, so sad. Here's exactly what that legal letter back to me said. I'm going to read you a couple of quotations. It says, the simple fact is that Ms. Owens, as shown in the clip, made thinly veiled threats directed at Mr. Crowder that she would release the alleged dirt she had on him if he kept making statements about the Daily Wire. Mr. Crowder's opinions fall short of any defamation. At most, he has merely opined comparatively the feeling of certain misconduct to his own present state of being. Then the subsequent use of the word threats is not in and of itself an accusation of crime, even within the larger context in which it was used. The most reasonable implication is not an accusation of crime, but that threats have occurred that fall short of being a crime. Again, at most, they are simply reminiscent in Mr. Crowder's personal opinion of the specifically referenced type of misconduct. In short, these are his feelings, they are not facts, and his opinions are protected. And to make it clear for those of you that thought there was something going on in the background or that someone had secretly threatened him, his lawyer is alleging that's not the case. He was simply referring to the exact clip that he showed you of me. Nothing else happened. He just wanted you guys to think that he was under duress in some other capacity. In short, as I have said, I believe Steven Crowder is an absolute monster, and I encourage all of the other people that he has victimized to find their strength to speak out now. By the way, his lawyer offered to me that we could both agree to a ceasefire if I agreed that I would never speak about Steven Crowder again. And to him, I would publicly like to say, your client doesn't have that kind of money to keep Candace Owens from speaking out about things that I find to be absolutely despicable.
So what you're saying to me is that had he never included you in that clip, you would have just not said anything about this? Like, I get what she's saying, but like it's kind of masked in this whole like, if you didn't shit talk me, I wouldn't be defending your wife right now. So there's another 16-minute video filled with fucking nothing to hear somebody kind of protect their brand and posture as like a decent human being when we know that the foundation of them as an individual is built off of bullshit. And so whenever they come out to publicly defend somebody, it's always some ulterior motive 9 times out of 10, you know? She probably, I mean, I'd be curious to know if she ever had a conversation with the wife, reached out to them publicly. Are you okay? No, I'm not trying to exploit you. I just want to talk to you, see if you good. Like, I don't get how people don't see, like, how I can't just, like, who do you make this content for? Or do you just assume that you making, like, all the videos that you make or content that you make is just going to fans of yours? Because that's the only way I could think that somebody is this delusional to think that people can't see through what you're doing. Why are y'all writing essays in the chat? I didn't think this was that complicated. You're talking about Justin Bieber and Drake. Damn, she is fine. Why she gotta be like that? You on the Candace Owens train? I'm not going to say nothing about Candace Owens. I don't know how people, if you tracked it or not, I don't know. But it's just like, bro, I see you. Like, why do you act like I can't see you? This is literally the definition of the Cat Williams meme. You know what I'm saying? One homeless man calling another homeless man a broke-ass nigga. You know what I'm saying? It's like the Spider-Man meme. You know what I'm saying? It's in real life. It's in full effect. She looked like a sexy sloth. Okay, y'all going crazy. I didn't say she was fine. I was reading a comment. I didn't say she was fine. I mean, same with Stacey Dash. I've never thought Stacey Dash was fine though. Y'all was at a point y'all was at a point in time where y'all just assumed colored eyes made niggas sexy. I never thought that about Stacey Dash. But I get what you're saying, though. I'm not saying Stacey Dash isn't, but I'm just saying I never thought that way about Stacey Dash. Shawn, can you fix her? No.
It's going down in here. I'm with the money team.
No, I cannot fix her. She is a grown woman with her own opinions and own thoughts on the world. They don't align with mine.
I still don't understand why celebs and people with a platform have to post their BS online instead of keeping it all private.
Cause if you in a spat with somebody else publicly, it helps your reputation to say something. You know what I'm saying? Well, if you in a spat with someone privately, and the video that comes out about you comes out, it would be in your best interest to your fans to try to keep them on the hush hush and try to be like, oh, you know, I actually am not the person that you saw me being on camera. That actually isn't me while I was in the comfort of my own home, being who I actually am. That wasn't me. It was all a prank. It was a joke. This is what actually happened. So I get why he would do it, but he's still a piece of shit. And so is Candace Owens. So I really don't have anything to say. No doubt in my mind. Bro, why do you keep posting that? Wake up, George. Appreciate the 3 gifted subs. How's my day going so far? You got finals? Hope I'm good. You too? Wait. Y'all got finals?
How's your day going so far? I got finals tomorrow. Hope I'm good. You too. Is a review of the Great White Hope BLP kosher on the way? He's the second coming of Jesus.
You don't miss those? Finals gonna be kicking my ass.
Thoughts about Karl Marx? !
Damn. I'm not watching that. I'll be safe. Good luck on y'all finals. On God. I hope y'all be safe on y'all finals, cause nigga like me, I'm paying for the answers. I'm paying somebody to take my test. I'm getting AI to do it for me. That's just me though.